This is lesson 8, exercise number 4, assembly. I'm going to attempt to demonstrate a technique using subelements to build this particular assembly. Lesson 7, exercise 3 has this starting coordinates. 125.63 is actually 0.625, which is 5/8. 0.88 is actually 0.875, which is 7/8. 0.38 is actually 0.375, which is 3/8. So I got to create a local axis system on this part here. Now, this piece here is in front. Oh shoot, what happened? Is front of here. So these two pieces, they mount together. The back side touches the front face here. So this corner right here will be my local axis for both parts. So when I create this part, we'll go in the negative x direction, and for this part here, everything will be in the positive x direction. Alright, so let's begin. Again, the numbers are 125 and 5/8. So we'll go to CATIA, and first thing I'll establish is the local axis. Select the coordinates, and we'll insert our coordinates. Station 125 plus 5 divided by 8, and I like to just hit tab to see what number it comes up with. And then the next number was 25 and 7/8, so it's 25 plus 7 divided by 8. That's your 875. And the next one was 50 and 3/8. 50.375 is 3/8. Okay, so I've got my axis created. I'll just double check this. Dang it. I see my preferences aren't correct. So we'll load the preferences. Just want to make sure I was actually recording that. We're going to go to parameter measure, display. All of these are supposed to be turned on. Graphic properties, looks good. Infrastructure, that needs to be on. Parameter and measure, under parameters I want to make sure that display value and formulas are on. Otherwise I won't see these numbers. Actually, if I say okay, these numbers should show up, that's what turns those on. And then under measure, this needs to say CATIA, so scroll down, look for CATIA. Use the CATIA symbols. And then under units, for some reason this one takes a long time every time I click on units to actually show up. For inches, 4 places, mass, volume, density, area, inertia, basic mass. Okay, all that looks good. These are all 4. The display trailing zeros on. Alright, so we're going to rename this. All caps, no spaces. And then what I like to do is hide the absolute axis. Go to fit all in. So it finds my axis, and I'm going to work on this plane here. And I'm going to create a sketch on that plane. So we're going to go into the sketch. I'm going to work off the axis. And I'm just going to create a series of rectangles. I'm going to click here. It was, I think that's about right. 2.5 maybe. Create another rectangle from here. Oh, that's not very centered, is it? Undo that. See if I can't center that better. It doesn't really matter, actually. I'm going to highlight this whole thing and go right to auto constraints right now. I'm going to reference these edges. Select OK. Ooh, I did it in chain. Select these edges, stack dimension this. And then what it does is it doesn't really control the size of my boxes very well. And I think for me it's easier to control the size of the boxes. So if I were going to do this, what I would do is when I create this first rectangle, CATIA does auto constraints really well on boxes. I just hit that and hit OK and just let it do its thing. I'll create another rectangle, and with it highlighted, hit OK or auto constraints and just say OK. What I'm doing is I'm just controlling the size of the boxes that I'm putting in there. And with that one highlighted, I'm going to say OK under auto constraints. So now I've got my boxes highlighted here. And what I'm going to do next is what I'm going to do is I want to show you if I try to contact this line to this horizontal line, it only knows to move that one because these are not linked. But another thing cool about the auto constraints, the first thing it does is create geometrical constraints under auto constraints. So when I highlight this and say OK, whoops, did that do it? See these coincidences down here? My symbols are so tiny. I got all these coincidences added. When I add or open up my constraints, all those coincidences are linking the box. So now if I go to contact and contact this line to this here, everything knows to move. All right? So it's important that when I use sub-elements, I have closed profiles to extrude. All right, let's see. I'm trying to remember what the part looks like, what I'm trying to do here. That would be this one. So I have another block up here I need to add. Forgot. So let's create yet another rectangle. It's going to go from here up to here. With it highlighted, I go right to auto constraint. Again, if I move this one down, see that other one doesn't know to follow that well. So I'm going to hit undo. Put it back. I'll highlight the whole thing and hit auto constrain. And then sometimes it'll over constrain it. So accidentally slid it off the grid. It doesn't matter. Alright, so that box I would want to control from here to here. Whoops. I want to constrain that edge to this edge so I know where I'm locating that. And I'm just going to slide this out of the way. Alright, so this really should have been 2.5. If I try and change this to 2.5, this isn't going to know to follow. But that's okay. I just will change that to 2. And this is my overall dimension here. That should be 5.5. This box here is actually 1 inch tall, meaning that this should only be 1.5 inch tall, and the height of this is actually 1/2 inch. This is supposed to be 1/2 inch, meaning that this should really be 3 inches, or no, I think that is right. And is that really 2 inches? Maybe that's where I'm wrong here. Well, that's supposed to be 2.5. And this dimension then is just 1 inch. So that's 1 inch. This is 2.5. What dimension am I missing here? Oh, it's down all the way down here. So that must be 3.5. I think I mistyped that number. 3.5. Okay. So we got 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here. This is going to be 1/2 inch. That's 1 inch, and this is 1.5 inches. And this number is 2.5. Okay. And then I got holes in here. So what I'm going to do here, highlight the, oh, I meant to put this in last. Oh well. Let's just corner that at, it says 3/4, and corner this one over here 3/4, and then put in a hole at that point. Create a hole at this point. Be careful not to link up to anything there. And I'm going to highlight these 2 holes. Go to auto constrain. reference these lines, and I'm going to change dimension. I want to change dimension from here to this hole and from here to this hole. Select OK and see if it works. Sometimes it works. Oh, the reason why I didn't hit the dimension, I used those and it held concentricity. So these holes are concentric. Now when I contact this bottom line to this horizontal line, contact this vertical line to this line, it's all completely fully constrained. Then I would go to View, Analysis, and I'm going to verify that all the profiles are closed. So I have the 2 circles and the 4 boxes. They're all completely closed. And this thing is indeed completely constrained. Now that I have my sketch done, I'm ready to go ahead and build my solid. So I'll exit out of this, and I'm going to use the pad command. Make sure the sketch is not highlighted, and we're going to use, oh shoot, I forgot to put this in the right place. Sketch 2 should be here under the part body. With it not active, we can go to pad and do a go to profile to choose a sub element. The sub element must be active, and what I like to do is just start with the first one, select OK, and I believe that was a 1/2 inch. Go back to pad, go to profile definition, and I'm going to select this one there, and that comes out 1.5 inches, I believe. So we'll make this length 1.5 inches. Oh, these hole pins are not the right size. I'll just go ahead and do a pad. We're going to create these 2 cylinders. Oh no, those are holes. So using this technique, oh, I'm missing something. I'm going to go ahead and do the top block. So again, I'll use pad, go to profile definition, and grab this top block. I think that one's sticking out 1 inch. Something looks a little off, but the concept will be the same, whatever size we got here. I'll select OK. Just because I don't like those holes, I want to go change those hole sizes. And they're 1/2 inch diameter. Switch them to diameter and call off 1/2 inch. What? I must have grabbed the wrong one there. Diameter of 1/2 inch. Half-inch diameter. Exit out. Oh, and we're missing, I need that relief here. So what I can do, back to circle, create a circle right here in the center. That's a 0.75 radius. I'll just type in 0.75. It's green, it's already locked it up to that line, and it's holding that symmetry for me. So I'll exit out, and I'm going to use the pocket command. And when I do a pocket, oh, all this is going to work actually. I'm going to pocket, if I can get that line in there. Sorry, I forgot to go to profile definition. We're going to pocket this inside, this hole, this hole, and that hole, and reverse the direction. And I like to just go up to last. Preview that. Looks like everything's going to work out. I'll select OK. And then when you use the sub-elements, you have everything in one sketch. You got to hide that. Okay, and that's how I built that part using sub-elements. And the beauty of this is everything is done in a single sketch. You notice this sketch is not underneath these pads. If I go to my preferences, you can fast forward till the preferences show up here. I wish it wouldn't default to units. That's the one that takes forever. We go to object properties and open 3D shape and open up infrastructure. That's because I had the hybrid design on. I'll turn that off and select OK. And in my next video, I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to do it at the assembly level rather than at a part design level.